Today, we're talking about a Disney classic, the 1992 film Aladdin. But more than that, we're focusing on the one singular performance that didn't just steal the show, it completely changed the game for animation forever.
You know, the legendary film critic Roger Ebert just hit the nail on the head back in '92. This quote, "It perfectly captures that lightning in a bottle moment, right? You had one of the most explosive, unpredictable comedic talents on the planet finally unleashed in a medium that could actually, maybe, keep up with his brain." All right, so let's set the stage here. Aladdin drops in 1992, and it's coming in hot. I mean, Disney was on an absolute roll with The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. This movie wasn't just another hit, it was the one that cemented a new golden age for Disney, what we all now call the Disney Renaissance.
And the story itself? Well, it was classic Disney, a timeless folktale about a street rat, a diamond in the rough who finds a magic lamp. Pretty standard stuff on the surface. But critics back then noticed something was off, a real imbalance in the cast of characters.
And what's so fascinating is how everyone seemed to agree. The critics looked at Aladdin and Jasmine, our romantic leads, and kind of shrugged. Ebert literally called them pale and routine. Ouch. But then they talked about the supporting cast. The Genie, Harpet, Iago, that's where the real energy was. That's where the heart of the movie was beating. And it was all being powered by one single, unforgettable force.
Yeah, you guessed it. That force was the Genie. And here's the wild part. The entire character, from the ground up, was designed for one person, and one person only. Robin Williams. I mean, listen to this quote from the director, John Musker. He basically said they were walking the plank. If Robin said no, they were in huge trouble. There was no backup plan. So, the big question is, how in the world do you convince a superstar of that caliber to do a voice in a cartoon?
Well, they didn't just send him a script. No, they did something brilliant. They went and listened to his stand-up comedy albums. Then, animator Eric Goldberg created a test animation of the Genie performing Robin's own material. They showed it to him, and boom, he was in, signed on right away. He saw what they saw, a perfect match.
But okay, getting him to say yes was just step one. Once he got into that recording booth, the script kind of went out the window. He didn't just read the lines, he basically created a whole new universe from scratch.
Get this. He laid down almost 16 hours of improvised material. 16 hours. For a movie that's only 90 minutes long. That's just an incredible amount of creative energy. A complete flood of ideas that the animators then had to somehow make sense of.
So you can just imagine being one of the animators, right? They had this monumental task of trying to keep up with him. His brain was just jumping all over the place, from a Jack Nicholson impression one second to a Groucho Marx gag the next. Pop culture references, puns. I mean, the iconic song Friend Like Me was designed with this whole Fats Waller Harlem Jazz Club vibe specifically to try and contain that explosive larger-than-life persona. And this really shows you the sheer scale of what he did. His ad-libbing was so extensive, so off the cuff, that the Academy reportedly couldn't even consider the movie for a Best Adapted Screenplay Oscar. Why? Because he'd improvised so much of it. He had fundamentally rewritten the character live, in the booth. So yeah, his performance made Aladdin a massive hit. But its impact was so much bigger than that. It created a seismic shift, a real earthquake, in the entire animation industry. You can really draw a line in the sand. Before 1992, animated roles usually went to professional voice actors, the unsung heroes of the industry. It was rare to get a huge A-list movie star. But after Robin Williams and the Genie, it became the new playbook. Suddenly, having big celebrities headline your animated film was the standard. Think Tom Hanks in Toy Story, Eddie Murphy in Shrek. That all starts right here.
And it wasn't just who was doing the voice, it was how they were doing it. The Genie's whole style, this fourth-wall-breaking, pop-culture-referencing humor in a Disney movie, that was revolutionary. It totally opened the door for a new kind of animated comedy, something a little edgier, a little more self-aware. You can draw a straight line from the Genie to the entire snarky, pop-culture-fueled vibe of a movie like Shrek.
But it's not all just a simple success story. For all its influence, the legacy of Aladdin is, well, it's complicated. The movie sparked some really important and difficult debates when it came out. And frankly, those conversations are still happening today.
Right out of the gate, the film got hit with sharp criticism for its portrayal of Arab culture, for leaning on some pretty harmful stereotypes. The most famous example, of course, is in the opening song Arabian Nights. The original lyric was so problematic that Disney actually had to go back and change it for the home video release.
And this quote from critic Maha al-Badrawi really captures that complicated feeling. It's this mix of being happy to see your culture on screen, but at the same time being frustrated with how flawed that representation is. It's that feeling of, is this really the best we can do? And the controversy wasn't just about what was on screen. Behind the scenes, things got pretty ugly. Robin Williams agreed to a super low salary, just $75,000, because he loved animation and wanted to be a part of it. But he had two simple conditions. 1, don't use my name as the main marketing draw, and 2, don't use my voice to sell merchandise. Well, Disney broke both of those promises. Big time. It led to a very public falling out, and it's why he refused to come back for the sequel.
So this brings us to a really interesting question. With all these issues, the controversies, the feuds, why is this movie still so incredibly beloved? Why has its popularity never faded? What is it that allows it to endure? Well, the answer seems to bring us right back to the film's heart.
The director, John Musker, he believed it all came down to Robin's ability to mix that insane, manic comedy with just genuine heart, real warmth. He talked about Robin's big heart, his sweetness, that the real friendship you felt between the genie and Aladdin, that was the soul of the movie. And I think that leaves us with a pretty powerful final thought. Maybe the greatest magic trick in Aladdin wasn't summoning a genie from a lamp, but was instead found in the once-in-a-generation talent who gave that genie a voice.